Moving to South Korea was definitely not without its challenges because it was learning a new language, learning new ways of thinking. Like, even
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teachers Podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the family. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always lovely to have you with us here. So, here at the Teachers Podcast, we talk everything teaching, everything education, learning, growing, and succeeding. My name is Noelle Tswalo. I am a qualified teacher from South Africa, currently living and teaching in South Korea. I'm going to miss saying that. Anyway, today we are doing things a little differently. As you know, this is a virtual podcast, but today we have someone here with us. Usually we connect with teachers from all over the world virtually where they tell us stories about their teaching journey, right? But remember, distance has never been a barrier to education. So joining us today is David. Sir, welcome to the Teachers Podcast. Hi, David.
hey,
You're looking so
thank you
good.
kindly.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. So, David, tell us, who is David? Where are you from? And what is your educational and professional background?
All right. So, my name is David. Nice to meet everyone. I am from South Africa. I grew up in the small town of Grahamstown, which is now known as Makanda. I went to Rhodes University where I studied lots of things. I went there with the aspirations of being a lawyer,
Okay.
but after my after my third year in law, I decided this is not for me. I changed my degree to study information systems and economics.
You changed
Yeah,
on your third year.
yeah, it was. I was very lucky. I was able to do that. So
Okay.
I have the law credits,
Oh,
and if I really wanted to, I could go back. But law is definitely not a career that I'm looking at.
interesting.
Yeah, and then I graduated my honors degree in information systems. So that's my educational background. So I changed course a couple of times.
That is very
Yeah.
diverse, like
Yeah.
law and how did that come about? And in what subjects did you actually study at school?
In high school, so I was a very average student in high school. I think the highest mark I got was 74 for English. But I studied mathematics, physics, both of which I just barely passed. I studied geography and history, and Afrikaans. Afrikaans was by far my worst
Yeah.
subject. Yeah. So I went from a very directionless high school to a very purposeful university. In fact, I actually won a Rhodes an Allen Gray scholarship to do my postgrad.
What?
Yeah.
And a lot of people always say that even though they were average students
Mm.
in high school, when they get to university, they actually level up.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's when you find your purpose.
I think it's definitely finding the purpose, but beyond that, it's finding passion. I'm a strong believer in following passions. Uh, you're not going to be successful if you're not passionate about what it is you're doing. I think passion is the secret ingredient to success.
True.
Yeah,
That's true because you first need to love what you do.
exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was late in my university career when I discovered my love for economics, for understanding the world, for information systems. And I think that was the big difference with law. With law, I was doing it because I had to. Other
Okay.
people told me you had to.
Oh,
But when I found my own purpose, when I found myself saying, I really want to do this, like I wake up wanting to do this,
yeah.
That was the big game changer.
And I now see why they would tell you you can make a great lawyer because you are very informative and we
Yeah,
yeah always have something to say and
yeah.
always up to date with current
Mm,
affairs. So
yeah.
yeah, I
I appreciate that.
definitely understand where that was coming
I
from. But
appreciate
yeah,
that.
passion,
Yeah.
passion first. We are here because of passion.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So to speak to my professional background, so straight after university, I went to Johannesburg, which was a very big change for me, and I worked at a consulting firm.
Oh,
But to the conversation we had about passion, I didn't actually enjoy it nearly as much as I did studying, learning.
studying.
I found myself very much stuck in a rut, like
Mhm.
most days, just bored, just waiting for the clock to hit 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. So I was at that company for 2 years before I decided to try something different. So I went into data analytics.
Mhm.
And similarly, I wasn't passionate about it.
Did you have to study more?
No, I was lucky in that I could lean on my work experience and my educational background to make the transition. But again, it wasn't hitting that spot. That it wasn't really giving me that passion that I was looking for.
Mm.
So at the end of my first year at the second firm, I was in a meeting with my manager,
Yeah.
and my manager was shouting at me. Yeah,
Why?
it was a virtual meeting. It was a
Uh-huh.
virtual meeting, but still, it was definitely like some very harsh words were said. And in that moment, I just said, I can't do this. It's been 3 years. I haven't found any joy in what I've done. It's cost me a lot. It cost
Mm.
me, I don't want to.
Your mental health
Yeah,
and
my mental
other
health definitely
things.
took a
Yeah.
took a huge knock.
Mhm.
So that day, straight after the meeting, I went online. I booked a TEFL course, and I did a 120-hour TEFL course.
Yes.
Yeah, so I left that company, and then I went. I took some time off. I took like a 4 month like gap
Okay.
while I got my affairs in order.
Mhm.
Then I came to Korea. Yeah,
Wow. Then that's when your teaching journey started,
that's
right?
exactly it. 2024
Yeah.
is when I started teaching. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, with education and
Mm,
working, careers and all those things,
yeah.
I think the one thing that I love is that you have free will.
Yeah.
You can change.
Yeah. I've met a few people in Korea who haven't had my exact story,
Okay.
but we've shared similar themes
Yeah.
where they've worked a job that they hated,
Mhm.
or they were in a position in life that they didn't want to be in,
Yeah.
and they came across to try something different. Yeah, that's exactly as you say. Free will. We have choices. There's always an
Yeah.
option.
There
Yeah.
is. Once you have that degree, don't
Yeah.
let people tell you that it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
You can choose to do what you like,
Mm.
at any given time. And with the seasons changing and the world changing,
Yeah.
you also now come to a point where you discover certain passions,
Yeah.
you find yourself meeting new people and
Exactly. Yeah.
actually learning about careers that you didn't even know
Yeah.
about.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the exciting part about education. So, what was the process like moving to South Korea, and how have you been enjoying life here so far?
All right. So I think there's two parts to the question.
Mhm.
So the first part is the process of moving to South Korea. I think the biggest challenge was getting all of the documents ready South Africa side.
Paperwork.
Yeah,
What
I
a
think
tedious
yeah, I
process.
think everyone who subscribes to your channels knows
Yeah.
the like DOCO was the biggest thing, like getting Sakwa,
Osaka.
getting police clearance, and like the day that my police clearance arrived, I
Mhm.
got a phone call from the police station, and one of the captains was trying to get a bribe out of me. But I mean,
What?
that's a whole other story.
You pay for that.
Well, yes, I did,
What?
but we could talk about that another stage. But it was definitely like, oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. But so that it took a long time,
Mhm.
but and it actually did delay me coming to Korea. I came to Korea like 3 weeks later than I was supposed to
Oh,
because of
the
the, yeah,
clearance.
yeah. So getting everything apostilled took a
Yeah.
long time. But then as soon as my visa was ready, as soon as the visa came in, it was a Wednesday when I got a phone call from the
Yeah.
embassy saying, "Hey, your stuff is ready for
Were you
collection."
excited?
I ran to
Ah,
all of my friends. I was like, guys,
we made
we made it. And
it!
then um, I I booked the first flight that I could out of South
Mhm.
Africa. It was like, yeah, back then it was still expensive, but I
Yeah.
still had some savings. I was like
Mhm.
crying. I was like, yeah. And yeah, so that was that. And
Yeah.
then it was my first flight. It was my first time ever leaving South Africa. Mm.
Yes. Hmm.
So I was excited the whole way through.
Mhm.
I was wide awake between Johannesburg and Doha, just looking at the
Really?
like it was pitch black at night, and I was looking out the camera. I couldn't see anything, but I was like, it didn't matter. Like
Yeah.
I was moving.
I don't remember my way here
Yeah.
until I got to the airport.
Like it's a common feeling, and then I
Yeah.
land in Doha. I'm like, my first thought was, my entire support structure
Mhm.
is gone. Like if it was in South Africa, like no matter what happened,
Yeah.
I could find a my family could drive theoretically to come and rescue
Yes.
me. But now I'm like, I'm far away
I'm
from,
alone.
I'm far away. Like if I'm in trouble, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
If I lose my phone, cooked. If I lose my, if I lose my passport, anything, that's me.
Oh,
I'm cooked.
the passport one
I'm
is,
done. But
yeah, another process.
yeah, but I got that. And then I came to Korea. Um, and I was just like, I was so tired by the end after a 16-hour flight. And I was like, okay, I'm like, it didn't quite land that I was in another
Yeah.
country.
Another continent.
Another continent, exactly, like another continent. So then, yeah, so moving to South Korea was definitely not without its challenges because it was learning a new language,
Yes.
learning new ways of thinking. Like even like the road, like where people drive on the road. South
Yes.
Africa, everyone's on the right hand side of the road.
Yes.
Now everyone's on the
On the
left, and
left.
it's like, yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
Um, different food cultures, different foods. Definitely like an adjustment. I hadn't tasted Korean food before I came to Korea.
It was your first time.
Yeah. Um, and it's been a pro. I've been enjoying my life in Korea
Yeah.
so far. You know, it's been. It's gonna sound like a cliche, but
Mhm.
I've learned so much
Yeah.
about myself. I've really had to stop and rethink everything I knew about who I was as a person.
Because you spend most of the time alone.
I don't even think it's because I spend most like it's not even that,
Yeah.
but it's more like I'm interacting with people who are wildly different with me from me.
Oh,
You know, completely different
true.
culture, different language,
Yeah.
but then different ways of looking at life.
Yes.
And I've made lots of mistakes. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I've made many mistakes,
Yeah.
but I've grown from it. I've really like reassessed who I am versus who I want to be, and every day I make steps to align who I am with the ideal version of myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. It gives you a chance to actually
Hmm.
spend time with yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I said you spend most of the time alone, I
Yeah.
mean that because when you come here, you stay by yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And I used to stay alone when I was back home,
Yeah.
but it was different because I knew that my family was not far,
Yeah.
my friends were not too far.
Yeah.
But when I got here, I could think,
Yeah.
I was able to look at, like you said, your mistakes.
Yeah.
You're able to see where you are not doing your
Yeah.
best, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And just being the best version of
Exactly
yourself.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's things like how I carry myself in like day-to-day situations, how I
Yes.
approach like meeting new people, how I,
Yes.
yeah, lots of like, okay, how do I make decisions, that
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and respecting other cultures.
exactly. Yeah,
When I came to South Korea, I didn't really know much about other Africans.
yeah,
It's I know it's something else because
yeah,
we don't really take the time to learn about other
yeah.
African countries and other
Mm,
languages. And when I came here, I met a lot of African people,
yeah.
and I started learning. Besides learning Asian people, I was also
Hmm.
learning African people. So
Yeah.
I think that was very beautiful.
It's an interesting, like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting observation. You learn more about other African like
Yeah.
cultures when we're far away from Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And you said you started at a hagwon,
That's
right?
right.
And now you work at an English village.
That's correct. Yeah.
Can you please take us through the whole transition and what would you say are the biggest differences between the two?
So when I transitioned from the hagwon to the English village, it was a pretty interesting time
Mm-hmm.
because I had heard about the English village before,
Okay.
but by that stage, I'd already signed a contract with the hagwon. So I wanted to honor the contract.
Yes.
I had gotten the ball rolling. I had the visa application in, so I was going to stick with the hagwon.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like I understand the need to like chop and change,
Yes.
but especially when you're dealing with international, like working internationally for the first time, you really don't want to like, you really don't want to be. I'm trying to find the right word, flaky, I
Yes,
guess.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that can really impact, like that can really harm your
Yeah.
chances. But yeah, so I worked at the Hagwon for a year,
Hmm.
and I won't get into how I felt about working at the Hagwon,
Yes.
but it was like I learned a lot.
Mhm.
It was definitely like a completely different set of skills that I had gained, like not just teaching, but being a parent away from home,
Yeah.
being a like yeah, like not a step parent, but
Mhm.
like a someone's like being responsible for kids.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
um, like so like skills. So I'm so used to working with adults,
Mm.
people older than me, a little bit younger than me. But then when there's babies who don't even speak English as their first language, yeah. And again, like I'll be the first to admit I made lots and lots of mistakes, lots and lots of mistakes. But I will always try my best to learn from mistakes. You know, my personal motto today is be a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about that. And then at the end of my year, I felt that my time at the Hagwon had come to an end. I
Okay.
felt that I had nothing more to gain from working at the Hagwon.
Was it a kindergarten or elementary?
It was a kindergarten Hagwon. So we had kindergarten in the morning,
Hmm.
and then in the afternoon we had elementary students coming
Okay.
in. So we were like kindergarten within like an after school program.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was definitely exposed to working with kids, like
Mm.
kids completely different from me, like
Yeah.
different culture, different attitudes to learning, different interactions between males and females,
Yeah.
girls and boys, like lots of things that I like really had to learn how to adapt to on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here
Mm.
in South Korea, with the teaching, you are the teacher first, you are the police,
Yeah.
you are the nurse, you basically
Yeah.
everything, and you are their friend because
Yeah.
here you have to be very friendly with the
Mm.
kids. We don't really discipline,
Yeah.
right, the kids. I'm not sure if you have one, but yeah, it's mostly you play different roles.
Yeah.
It's never just one role. Yeah,
I,
and that's the art of teaching.
I think yeah, to discipline, to the point of disciplining, like especially my background, if a kid does something like
Yeah.
wrong,
Mhm.
it's very much like quickly disciplined. But here it's like the better way is to find it. The better way is to discourage that kind of
Yes.
behavior.
Mm.
Find ways to get them to behave in a more
Yes.
appropriate manner.
Yeah.
And that's also like a skill that I've had to really develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we learn on the job. Every
Mm.
day we learn different things. I've been teaching for a few years, but
Yeah.
every day I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn. I mean, you will learn a lot more from the more challenging classes than you do
Yes.
from the easy classes. So in a
That's
weird way,
true.
you want the challenging classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Then Hagwan, and
Mm.
then now to the English
The
village.
English village. So yeah, what had happened was that um, I was made aware of a position at
Okay.
the English village, and I was very excited.
Hmm.
I had like gone through the job specification,
Yeah.
and I'd gone through the program, and I was like, this seems a lot more in line with my talents and my interests.
Yeah.
But I had made the mistake of signing a second contract with the same Hagwon,
Ooh.
and you know, it as an immigrant, as
Yeah.
someone on a visa, on a sponsored visa, that that put me in a very tight position.
Yeah.
Um, So what happened was that I had signed the contract, but I
Mhm.
had not taken the contract to immigration yet
Okay.
for s- signing.
For the visa to
Yeah,
extend. Yeah.
and I had told the hagwon about my intention to leave,
Okay.
but they weren't very responsive to it.
Hmm.
They were very, I mean, understandably, they were a little upset by
Yeah.
it. So, but they didn't say anything. It was
Hmm.
kind of like a lot of what was unsaid
Yeah.
that was kind of worrying me. But fortunately enough, like in the week before I came to the village, we
Hmm.
had to sit down and they explained their position. I explained mine,
Hmm.
and we departed on good terms.
Okay.
But coming to the village was definitely like the right move
Yeah.
because whereas I've been working with kindergarten to elementary school, I was now working from kindergarten all the way to university.
Yes.
And it wasn't English taught from a book,
Hmm.
which is what I think a lot of your subscribers are used to, teaching
Yeah.
English out of textbooks. It's very much more themed based English
Yes.
classes. So we teach English in a police station, for example, or we'll teach
Mm.
English out of a post office. So very
Real life situations.
real life situations, exactly that. So the students are taught vocabulary that
Yeah.
they can apply, and it's challenging in that with the textbook you at least have some kind of reference material that you
Yeah.
can teach out of. But with a situational class or a themed based class, the challenge becomes like how do you accommodate every student? Some students are going to be a little bit ahead in their English proficiency, and some are going to be a bit behind.
Yeah.
How do you keep everyone included? How do you make 45 minutes in a boring room fun?
Mm.
And these are always challenges that I like to address.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have gotten very used to teaching out of
Mhm.
PowerPoint, like teaching PowerPoint slides.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of classes don't have that. So you go back to like let's say the old school way of teaching, like
Yeah.
with the whiteboard
Mhm.
and call and repeat, and like using books to really, um, like really send home the idea of
Yeah.
like the English that you're trying to like teach.
Mhm.
So it's been fun. This will be my second year at the English Village, and hopefully there are many more after that.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
touch wood.
Amazing. Yeah, it sounds
Hmm.
interesting for sure. It
Yeah.
sounds interesting. I mean, with teaching situational, is it, do you also have conversational? Just like in, online teaching, mostly they will just say it's just conversational English.
So I believe the English Village used to have online classes,
Hmm.
but I think that was before my time. So
Okay.
I can't speak to that,
Mm.
unfortunately.
All right. I think also we need to just address a few things. Like he said, he had signed a contract, right? And the boss or the directors, right, were not happy with that. Most Koreans, right, they just find it like a betrayal. They
Yes.
feel
Yeah.
betrayed even if you had not signed a contract. And what happens in South Korea, most of the contracts begin in March, and they will end in
That's right.
February the
Yes.
next year, right? But then with the signing, they will make you sign a contract in November.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've heard lots of stories of, funny things
Yeah.
happening. 11th month firings are also a thing. So
Oh yeah, for the
for the severance,
severance.
so at the end of each contract,
Mhm.
Korean law requires that 1 month salary is
Yeah.
paid as bonus. So hagwons will move around this
Yeah.
by, well, let me not say hagwons,
Yeah.
but companies, educational institutions
Yes.
have been known to terminate contracts before the 12th month to get out of that.
Yeah.
That
That's
has,
not okay.
yeah, that hasn't been my experience,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think some advice would be definitely be cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be cautious and also know that you are not stuck, especially if you have completed your contract. If it was someone else, if they had just signed the contract,
Mm,
they would not want to leave because they'll be scared, right?
yes.
Thinking that I've already signed a contract. But if you haven't went to immigration, so remember, when you teach in South Korea, they sponsor your visa, they also sponsor your accommodation, right? So basically, they are your host. They
Yes.
are hosting you,
Yes.
right? You depend mostly on that particular school, but you are not stuck. I think a lot of people make a mistake of feeling stuck with that one
Yeah.
school, right? And not knowing that you can actually change,
Yeah.
right? But the important thing is to make sure that you also honor your contract, read your contract, read
Yeah.
your contract, like every dot, even the small parts, because most of their contracts are vague.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed with just moving schools. Some contracts are very vague, and some things are not supposed to be there, but they are there.
Yeah.
Saying that you have to work for us for 2 years. Make sure that that's not the
Yeah.
case.
So my advice, if anybody wants to come to me for
Mhm.
advice, my advice will always be do your research. I didn't do my research because I didn't want to be unemployed for too long. So I just took the first job that was given to me. But my advice would be do your research. Look at the school that look like research the schools that you're working at. Also look at like the applicable laws. Even when you're in Korea and you want to transition between schools, it does help to read up
Yeah.
and like look online.
Yeah. And ask people, talk to people, have a
Yes.
community. Don't be scared to ask other people who have already been at the school or country. All
Yes.
right. And this is why I love having conversations with
Yes.
teachers, right? Because we learn so much
Yeah.
with our own personal stories.
Yes.
And a lot of people can, you know, be in a process of wanting to transition, and
Yes.
they'll remember that, oh, but David did it this way and he was able to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would advise not to do it my way. Um, my advice is if you do feel that you want to move from one school to another for whatever
Yeah.
reasons, I think the best thing to do is start preparing in advance.
Yeah.
My advice would be definitely do your research
Yeah.
because if you kind of do things last minute in Korea, it's doable, but it's stressful.
Stressful.
Very, very stressful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
True. And what are some culture shocks you experienced when you first arrived in South Korea? Because there's just a whole lot, like it's a different culture,
Yeah.
just a different atmosphere.
Mm.
And are there any experiences that, you still feel like this is a culture shock?
I think the social culture of Korea is very different from what I'm used to.
Hmm.
So I come from a community that's very much about the individual. So let's say we go out for dinner, and at the end of the night, I feel a bit hungry. I in South Africa, I had the freedom to say, "Hey guys, thanks so much. I'm gonna take it easy tonight.
Yeah.
We'll catch each other next time." And maybe there'll be a little bit of, "Oh no, come on, stay
Yeah.
out." But for the most part, it's always been very like it's definitely been uh, okay. But in Korea, I think it's definitely like it's much more group orientated.
Okay.
So if we go out for dinner and at the end of the night, well, there is no "I'm tired, I want to go home." You follow the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about
I
the
mean,
Korea.
lucky you. Do you have Korean friends? Because for me, for
Yeah,
most of the time,
yeah,
it's either I'm by myself
yeah.
or with other South Africans.
Yeah, I made a lot of Korean friends in the first
Oh,
city I went to. They were very open, very like a lot of them spoke decent English,
okay.
and those that didn't, they could just kind of follow along. But yeah, I made a lot of Korean friends. It was interesting to learn. They told me a lot about Korea.
Makes sense. Because
Yeah,
I'm like, what group?
yeah. It also like a big thing that you need to think about is we're in a very conservative part of South Korea.
Yeah.
And my first teaching position was in a more like open,
Oh.
not to get political,
Mm-hmm.
but a more liberal, like
Okay.
much more, yeah, open
Yes.
part of Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things. These are things that you want to think about.
Mm-hmm.
It goes into the research, which
Yeah.
I suggest is like, okay, what's the social culture like? Um, but yeah, it's been some of the big culture shocks are also like Korean food. Korean food.
I was about to ask, how about the food? How
Yeah,
do you find the food here?
I actually like it. There's a couple of dishes where I say
Mm-hmm.
not going to be the top of my menu, but there's a lot of Korean dishes that I really like jjajangmyeon, which
Yeah,
is like black bean noodles, kamjatang, which is like a
that's my
yeah,
favorite.
a pork spine
Yeah,
broth, which is really good.
they call it the hangover soup.
The hangover
I
soup,
love
yeah.
it. I love
Maybe people get the wrong idea that I'm this big party animal.
it.
No,
No.
but more like I'm. It's just it's tasty and it's filling. Like a lot
Yeah,
of Korean food is designed to like fill you up.
yeah.
Um, but I think Korean interpretations of Western food has been interesting because they have a sweet tooth. Korean restaurants have a sweet tooth.
Corn.
Everything like I've had pizza with corn, and I was like, yo, I don't believe in pineapple on pizza, and now you're asking me to
I
be okay
mean,
with corn
I
on pizza.
mean, pizza with pineapple is nice.
Ah, okay.
Dave, come on, come
Nope,
on,
nope. I've held that position for
come
all of
on.
my life. Pineapple is good. Pizza is
Mhm.
good. Pineapple on pizza is no. Two rights don't make a wrong. Two wrong. Yeah, two rights don't make a right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Fair, fair. I
I
mean,
mean, to each their own.
mm,
I'm not gonna like knock the pizza out of your hand if I see you eat it. Yeah, no. But I think there's lots of sugar in everything. Like
mhm.
lots of
The
the
bread.
bread. So Koreans take a lot of pride in physical appearance.
Yes.
So there's definitely a preference for like slimmer builds, like skinnier builds, which is weird because you can walk down the street and there'll be a coffee shop on this side of the road and a bakery on the other side of the road, and then like a Burger King like at the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I work out, but Koreans must be working out like crazy.
How do they keep
Yeah,
their
how do they? Yeah,
diet?
their figures
Yeah, the
are like
food.
yeah. Um, but a lot of foods like Western style food is sweeter
Yeah.
than I've had a deep fried hot dog that was sprinkled in sugar with tomato sauce and ketchup like dripped on it. I'm like,
I know. I was once offered that,
yeah,
and I thought it was more of a dessert, and
yeah,
then inside there's a hot dog.
yeah. I'm like, and I like hot dogs. I like junk foods.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, I like junk food, but there's also like yeah, it took a while
Yeah.
to get around that. But kupang is my best friend.
Yeah.
Like I can't have everything. I do miss. There are some things available in South Africa that I
Mhm.
can't get here. But yeah, there's definitely ways around it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coupon. If you are a consumer,
yeah,
don't get coupon.
yeah.
Especially
If you're a
the
shopaholic,
yeah,
yeah,
please, if you like just staying in your house and buying and
yeah.
yeah,
Same day delivery.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think while we're talking about culture, now that I think about it, one of the other things that I've really like learned about is social hierarchies
Oh,
in Korea. So I think every country has their own version of
yeah.
it, but South Korea is very much like it's out there.
Mhm.
It's not a secret. It's
Yeah.
kind of like standardized.
Yeah.
So even in a friend group, if there's someone older, the older person in the friend group gets like what they say, what they want to do carries a lot more weight.
Yes.
The younger people just go along with it.
Yeah.
Like when you work at a school, there's definitely like a hierarchy. The Korean teachers will follow like a hierarchy, and you kind of have to blend in.
Yeah.
Navigating that is gonna be important,
Yeah.
especially if you want to be happy.
Yeah.
If you follow the social rules, both the written and the unwritten, you're in for a much smoother experience.
Yeah, I think also when you get to a place, just observe. If maybe we are eating, don't be the first one, to grab your spoon or chopsticks and eat.
Yeah.
Because if there's an older person, they have to eat first.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you are observant and read the room.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
I'm terrible at reading the room. I'll be the first to admit I cannot read the room.
Really?
Well, I'm thinking. I like to think I'm getting better,
Mm-hmm.
but it goes with what I like learning more about myself.
Mhm.
It goes with understanding myself and who I want to be a bit better. So it's one of those skills that I spend more time thinking about.
Ah, great, great. And then what's your favorite thing to do in South Korea, and what have been some of the biggest challenges of living abroad?
So my favorite thing to do in South Korea is my favorite thing to do in South Africa, which
Mhm.
is spend time with friends. Make friends, spend time with friends, get to know
Yeah.
people, chase that connection. Yeah, really build it. Really build out my social network. In South Korea, navigating the social nuances, the different social nuances has been challenging. And again, I've made mistakes, but I enjoy spending time with friends, like going out to the night district, the nightlife
Yeah.
district, spending time having coffee, just having conversations.
Yeah.
Going to the beach is one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, hiking, exploring. I've been to quite a few museums. I've been to Buddhist shrines, like Korean historical like places.
Oh.
Yeah, like, and it's really been interesting to like learn about Korea, like
Yeah.
Korean history.
I mean, with touring Korea, it's easier because the transportation is
Yeah.
convenient,
Mm.
and the nightlife is big here.
Yeah.
It's safe, so you can actually
Yeah.
go out at night. You can even go to the beach at night, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
There's transport, convenient transport, and it's also safe.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the
Oh
things,
yeah.
yeah.
Like it's you don't need a car in
Yeah.
Korea. Like if you yeah.
I mean, if you don't live somewhere in
Well,
the
yeah,
mountain
yeah,
like some of us do.
yeah. I think if you're fortunate enough to find yourself living close or in
Mhm.
an like a metropolitan
Yeah,
area, you don't need a
yeah,
car. But
true.
I know that there are a lot of schools and hagwons in like very like remote, very like very far away places. So having a car would help. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's part of the things though, like it's part of the things you have to navigate,
Mhm.
and you might end up saving money because there's less to do.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
you get bored
yeah, you do get bored.
and you miss home.
Yeah, the first like month I really did miss home.
Mhm.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But then as I started to like get comfortable, as I
Mhm.
started to find my feet,
Yeah.
it became a lot easier.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
gets better. It gets better. And
Yeah.
when you make friends and also make sure that you connect with your people from home,
Yeah.
like, yeah, don't just, isolate yourself that
Yeah.
much.
It's I was gonna say it's important, but I think it's crucial
Yeah.
to have an open mind,
Mhm.
to be open.
Yeah.
Very often, I think people tend to stick to their own. Like if you're American, you'll stick to like your American
Yeah.
friends, or if you're from the UK, you'll stick to your British friends. But I think if you really want to make the most of Korea, you open yourself up.
Yes.
Like you never know, you'll find yourself on a road trip with
Yeah.
people you've never met before. And
True.
I love that. Like I've been in cars with people I've met like 20 minutes prior. And
What?
I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, where are
And
we
it's
going?
safe.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
safe. Like you can just go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't suggest that, but everywhere I'm also just to each their own. Like
Mhm.
I wanna see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, if you did that in another country, I think it would also be like, maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
But South Korea is very safe.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure that you are safe. South Korea is safe,
Yeah.
but it's not heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think there's a lot of like there's a lot of things in Korea
Mhm.
that do need to be like addressed.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's nothing that you and I can do about it.
There's a lot. The labor laws,
Yeah.
um, the also this thing that if you get in trouble with a Korean,
Yeah.
they'll take their side.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think I've heard lots of stories about women also, like
yeah.
women like I'm going to be very careful of the language that I
Mhm.
use here, but women have been they have been put in very uncomfortable
Yes.
situations by Korean men.
Mhm.
And it's not just like women from other countries, even
Yeah.
Korean
Even
women.
Korean.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there is still a big issue with
Yeah.
how they're treated, how they're perceived, how they're expected to behave in
Yeah.
Korea. Yes.
Yeah. So be careful. Take care of yourself, just as you would take care of yourself in your home country. Let's be responsible adults. And yeah, man,
Mm.
David, I don't know any maybe advice for anyone wanting to transition or
Mm.
change careers, or anyone wanting to come to South Korea specifically.
I think my biggest advice would be learn the language. Learn. I mean, I'm not saying that I can speak Korean, but
Me to me.
yeah.
Never learn the language.
Like, I mean, but this is true. When I went to Vietnam, I met so many South Africans who were teaching English in Vietnam.
Oh.
So if you want to go to Vietnam, try learn the language. Like, try learn Vietnamese. If you go to China, try learn Chinese. I'm not saying I'm not saying be good at the language, but it goes a long way if you can go to the coffee shop and
Yeah.
say, "There, kape mocha hangejuseyo," something like that.
Nah.
There's lots of stories that are going viral online of like Koreans refusing to accept orders in English.
Really?
Yeah, but I think that's another story for another day. But it's just learn the language.
Yeah.
You might. I mean, I'm much more of a I'm
Let,
a mathematical like mind. So learning new languages is definitely like not mine.
let's try to have a conversation in English. Let me see where my Korean is at.
Please don't do that.
안녕하세요,
아,
선생님.
안녕하십니까? 네. 이름이 무엇입니까?
um, 네오입니다.
네, 네오입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. 제 이름은 데이비드입니다. 네.
And then what's this one? Where are you from?
어디에서 왔습니까?
어디.
어디에서 왔습니까? 네. 저는 남아프리카 공화국 사람이에요. 네. 어디에서 왔었어요? 남아공 사람이에요?
네.
네. 우와, 좋아요.
Teacher, good.
네.
Wow,
네.
teacher.
네, 감사합니다.
And wow. Thank you.
I hope no Korean person listens to that or someone who knows Korean because they're about to roast my Korean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, you are so much better than me because I'm ashamed.
Korean is considered to be one of the most difficult languages you can learn. Yeah. So my advice is definitely my advice will always be find what works for you.
Yeah.
Like learn the language. I don't think anybody expects you to be good at it, but just I think especially in places like Korea or like Eastern Asia, like effort goes a long way.
Yeah, I've learned the safety words. Like I've learned 하지마.
Yeah.
화장실 주세요.
네, 화장실 어디예요? Like where's the bathroom?
Where's the bathroom? I've learned like I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone is doing something to me, I'm like,
yeah,
hajima. You know.
Yeah, like it's those languages because I think especially there's still a big part of the population that does not speak any other language except Korean, especially in the more rural parts.
Yeah, that's true. No, thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much. And guys, that brings us to the end of today's episode. David, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey with us today. And to everyone watching or listening, thank you for just staying with us till this far. I hope this episode inspires you. It has taught you something new and has even encouraged you to explore opportunities beyond your comfort zone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and just make sure that you share this episode, right? We are a connection of educators sharing our journeys. We are sharing real stories, real experiences, and real growth. Remember, this is the right space with Teacher Newo. See you in the next adventure.